Hey folks, thanks for tuning in to Car Show and Tell. It's Tim the Toolman. And right now, well, let's see. I promised you guys that I would make a video about doing body work. And I think in the same video, I said I'm probably not the best person to be giving body work advice. But we'll see how it goes. That one big rusty spot in the passenger side rocker panel of our free Kia, and I'm going to tackle that today. So this video is going to be cut up into little bits and spurts because this takes forever and I don't want the video to take forever. So I'll give you a little taste of all the different steps that it takes to get something like this done. First, I'm going to show you what I got to work with here. I'm going to shoot the rocker panel of this thing. Alright, here's the extent of it. That's the rocker panel in the inner step there, I guess you'd call it, for the passenger side back door. And I want to do something about this before somebody gets tetanus trying to get in and out of the thing. So we've got quite a substantial amount of rot here and a lot of metal that's going to need to be replaced. So guess let's get started here. I'll show you what I am going to start out with. I showed you guys in a previous video there was a section of another one that I cut out at a junkyard, only to discover that it had some problems of its own through here. So what I've done, this was the inside piece, and we have our floor drop off here. There's a little section of that I'm going to have to cut out and splice in, but I don't need the majority of this. What's on the car, for the most part, is fine. I'm going to have to cut a little bit of that off, splice it in. This is our outside section. Okay, we have this piece here. It's going to replace the step in this rocker panel, and I'm going to have to cut a new piece and splice it in here. And we have this sort of B-pillar. It's the bottom of the B-pillar basically, and some of that's rotted off on the car. Some of this one is a little rotten too, but I can probably cut a little piece and patch that in, and the rest will be fine once I take the rust off of it. And that's my son making noise with his lawnmower. So we're going to patch that piece in. I'm going to show you what I started with. This was a door from a furnace, and I need a piece that's 4 inches wide and 20 inches long. And the only way I can get it out of that piece is to do it diagonally. So what I've done is I've flattened out all the flanges that were on each edge of the piece, and then I've drawn my lines 4 inches apart from one another to cut that middle section out. And I found a piece of pipe and I put a nice bend in it. It's a bend that I can use to match the bend, the gradual bend that's in that rocker panel of that car. So I'm going to cut away and cut this out and show you what it looks like when I've got that patch ready. Okay, so I had my lines on my steel piece that I'm going to use for my patch, and here's the results. Okay, I got some sheet metal shears there that I cut the sides off with and discarded those. You can see those triangles there, and this is what I'm left with. I cut the sides even, flat, 90 degrees, and then I drew a line 3/4 of an inch in on one edge, and using my flanging pliers right there, I took and bent a 90-degree flange on this edge. Okay, just like so. That's going to be our new piece. It's going to sit right there. I can cut that out. That little bit of rust there, I can, actually that's just dirt. I'll clean that off. But I'll take and trace a line across this edge at the top. Trace a line there. Trace a line on that side. And then take a cutoff wheel on my grinder and proceed to cut nice and straight along the lines that I traced. And then I'll go about welding that in when the time comes. But I've had enough of that, so for right now, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the cutoff wheel ready, and I am going to sit down here. I'm going to sit down here where this rusty section is, and I am going to start cutting away the things that I don't want on here. And I don't know, maybe I'll leave this run for a little while I do that. We'll see. Alright, I did start. I cut up here and then cut across here. I'll just finish this cut out here and pull it away and see what I'm looking at. Use this stupid foam. Stuck everything together with that, which is probably why it rots here too. That foam will absorb moisture and hold it. This is a stupid idea. Let's put it next to sheet metal. Rusts. Brilliant. Oh yeah, this thing's completely rotten out on the bottom. So, good thing I got another one. I take this little piece off here. Peel this out of here. And there's a little bit. It's not even worth recycling. Lots of dirt. Okay. I think I'm going to cut up farther here to this because this is rusty on this edge. So, I don't know if you can see this or not. Still got some rust up on this edge, so I think what I'm going to do is cut right here on this crease. Straight line, connect with my cut here, and I'll continue that up through here, cut a straight line, and then just come up and in right here, and then on this side cut down through here, cut across and down through the rest of the rocker over here where it's hopefully not rusty. I'm hoping all the rust kind of stops here and doesn't propagate any further. So we'll see. And all right. I was hoping I wouldn't have to take this door off, but I think I'm going to have to take it off. Maybe not. No battery. No battery left. Okay. Almost no cutting wheel left. And we hit pause. I'll go get another cutting wheel. Alright, so got a new battery, and I finished making my cuts here and up here. Okay, now this lip right here is held together with spot welds. You can see where the spot welds were made. Here, here, there, there, there. So what I have to do now to get these pieces apart is to take a drill and drill each one of those spot welds out and separate this outer sheet metal from the floor pan that's on the inside. Okay, they both have a lip here, a flange, and they're just put together, clamped together, and then spot welded at the factory. So I have to drill those spot welds and separate the outer piece from the inner piece and pull it away. Okay, I'll get my drill. I'll just tape, I guess, a little bit of this and then turn that off. The camera's not in the way. Well, you can get kind of the gist of it. I have to do this on each one. I'm just drilling through the outer piece of sheet metal. I'm not going the whole way through. I'm not drilling through the inside piece. Just the outside one. And there's, let me see here. Count. 1, 2, 3, 4. Man. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 of those that I got to drill out. Okay. So you get the gist of it from that one. Not drilling the whole way through, just out through this outer piece. Okay. Okay. So I was hoping I wouldn't have to remove the rear door, but it just wasn't possible. So I had to take the bolts out of the hinges and remove the electrical connector to all the power functions in the door and get it removed and set safely aside. That way I had enough room to get that spot weld and that spot weld drilled out, and I can finish the rest of this cut. And with that out of the way, I should be able to make that straight cut right here along this crease where I want to make my joint. So this is a tool that I use for separating sheet metal. All it is just a taper. It's an old taper gauge, and the front end of it broke off. The thin part broke off. So I cut a chisel point on the end of the taper gauge, and I use it. All I do is I simply drive it. Like I said, there's two pieces of sheet metal here. So I find the center between both of them and just take a hammer and I drive this down in between to separate these spot welds. Okay, so let me set this off to the side, and You can get a shot of that. I'll start back here at this one. That one's apart. That's apart. That one. And what the drill does, drilling it out, gets most of the spot welded material out. All this tool does is simply kind of chisels through the remaining weld that's left. Just in case I didn't get it completely centered up. I can chisel through the rest of the weld, and there isn't much weld left after I've drilled through the outer sheet. Sometimes you gotta go at an angle. That one's already apart. One more. There we go. And when I made my cuts here on this side, I didn't cut through both sheets. Okay, I did cut into the second one just a little bit, but I only cut through the first one and left this second one for the most part intact. And that's, there we go. I got that part out. So, I did make a couple of little boo-boos right in that corner, but that's okay. Have welder, will weld. So, whenever I cut my new piece, I'll trim it just so it fits nice and snug here against here and in this corner. And when I'm doing my welding, I'll just tack some weld in there, those extra little cuts, fill them in. Once they get ground flat, you'll never see them. I'll never see them. It's because they're going to be inside the door when it's shut. Alright. The next thing that I've got to work on, this is pretty solid, and I've got a good flange down here up to about here. So I think I'm going to cut this part halfway up here where it's solid. I'll cut that half off, and the piece that I got from the junkyard, I'll cut that a little bit higher, drill some holes in it, and I'll just lay one on top of the other, match them up, and spot weld the new piece in. Rather, because this goes the whole way up into here, and to remove the whole thing would be much more trouble than I'm willing to go to. So if I can lay one on top of the other and weld them together, I'll say that's, that's a decent fix. That's good enough for me in this. Right now, I think I'm going to cut the rest of this off flat. I'm going to pull this little bit off here because there's still some corrosion up in here that I want to eliminate. And I think those two pieces are spot welded together. Yeah, I can see a spot there. Spot here. There's probably a couple more that I'm going to have to find as I take this apart. Alright, I'll be back with you after I got these spots drilled out. Alright, so got this piece removed, drilled the spots out of it, and you can see kind of the extent of all the rust here with this piece, where it stops, and the rust chewed it away. So what I'm going to do, since there's supposed to be, if you can see it, there's a floor drop off behind this piece. Is another piece, and it's supposed to come the entire way down to the level this one does, but the rust is eating it away. So since I have to work behind this piece, what I'm going to do is kind of cut this one up higher than I really need to. I could probably get away with cutting it down here and patching it, but I want to work behind it, so I'm going to cut it up a little bit higher just to give myself a little bit more room to work with, and then the piece behind there I can cut down a little bit lower and then cut a piece out of my junkyard patches that I can fit in there and start tack welding in. So I'm going to cut this one up a little higher than I normally would, and then go from there. Okay, so I have this piece here cut up high and out of the way where I wanted it. Now I can come along underneath of it. It looks like the rust on this piece ends right here where it drops down. This is just a little surface rust I can clean up, paint over. So from about right here, let me back out here. That's a little surface rust I can paint over. So from right here, I can cut up, cut across to about here, come straight down. And it should be good. I can get my patch, line it up behind here, trace where I cut my patch to fit there perfectly, get it fit up, and I can start tacking that in. Well, I'll start tacking that in when I'm ready. I still have to get this mess cleaned off the flange that's still intact down here. So more spot weld drilling, a little more cutting. So right now I'm going to cut up and get this boxed out and ready for its patch. All right, we're back. That's about it for today, folks. Had to cut my patched area back a little further than I thought. I originally stopped there, and then when I was undoing the steel off the pinch flange down here, it started coming apart. So I cut this back a little bit further. So a little bit more spot that I need to patch. So I'll be patching this down here, be patching this piece, and then be moving on to the very outside and patching from there to there and up here. And I think what I'll do after I have this lip fixed, this pinch weld lip fixed, I can go ahead and re-weld everything that goes across that pinch weld on the bottom. I can re-weld this, and then it's going to get tucked up underneath the back side of here. Okay, so I'm going to have to cut a small slit in here, and it's going to have to go on top of this but behind this. So I'm going to drill holes here, 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 and spot weld. Come back into focus. So it's going to get spot welded from here across here, and then spot weld here, spot weld in the door frame, of course, and this spot here is going to be a butt weld flushed, and this whole area right here will just be one great big flush weld from here all the way down to the bottom. But that'll be for tomorrow. As for right now, I'm going to spray this rusty metal down with a little phosphoric acid, neutralize that rust, and hit it up with some weld through primer. And that's all I'm going to do for the day. We'll pick this part of the project back up again either tomorrow morning or the next day or the next week or the next month, who knows. So there we have it. I'm done for now. And done for now. Hope you guys learned something. Maybe what to do or what not to do. I'll go ahead and like, subscribe, or whatever you want to do. Thumbs up, bell ringy thingy, or not. Alright. Hope you guys enjoyed watching, and we'll see you again next time. Take care. Bye-bye.